What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us?
Speak rock, that's the team that I'm with. Speak rock, don't it make a lot of sense? Speak rock, yeah, we speak to each other. Hey, young man, be a brother to another, Put the other things aside, throw away the fakeness. All my brothers got the key to achieve greatness. Let nobody bring you down when you tryna reach the top. Let them know what you represent, tell them speak rock. Let's make a change for the best. Let your voice be heard, let your words be expressed. Brothers and sisters, set a goal to the top. If anybody got your back, let them know it's speak rock.
Hey, yo, Guap, that was dope. Hey, just gotta keep telling them what it is out here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you already know, man.
Hey, we doing this one for the D. What up, though?
What up, though?
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though, brothers and sisters? This is your brother, Speak Rock. I am so glad that you are with me here today on this Sunday evening. Man, it's beautiful out here. The sun is shining. I'm pretty sure it's shining everywhere. If it's not, you know what? I'm sending sun rays in your direction because it is beautiful out in these streets. Hey, but look, I am so thankful that you all are with me. Once again, I'm going to say real quick, for those who haven't gotten connected or plugged in to Speak Rock, make sure that you do so on my social media platforms. Go to SPEAKROC and go to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Go ahead and like those pages. Also, please, more than anything, go to my YouTube channel. That's Speak Rock. Type that into your YouTube browser and you can get caught up on all my content that I've posted. It's some good stuff. Got some good interviews going on. With that being said, I got a great one going on today. Let me tell you, I'm excited about who I got on the line with me today. It is my brother from another mother, a man that I hold in high esteem and high regard. This gentleman's name is Mr. Dekeither Stamps. Let me tell you a little something about this man. He's a Mississippi native, born and bred, a product of Mississippi all the way through. He is a military veteran. He is a Marine Corps veteran as well as a Army veteran. On top of that, he has done tours as what we like to call in the military world called downrange, but overseas in Iraq. This young man is not only is he a military veteran who has served his country, he is also a city councilman in the city of Jackson in the state of Mississippi. He is also an entrepreneur, a radio host, and I like this just to say an all-around general servant leader. Looking at highly engaged with the people. You hear a lot of people say that all the time, like, oh, I'm for the people. I'm about the people. You put that phrase to work. And what I want to do is talk to you today, about you, what you do, what your motivation is, what's your goals in life, and why is it that you do what you do. Hey, you ready to get into this, brother?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely, sir.
Awesome. All right, look, let's do, because I did an intro on you, gave a little bit of your bio, but look, I didn't do it justice. Please, sir, tell the people who you are and what you do, and give us some insight into the world of a councilman from Jackson, Mississippi.
Well, again, thanks again, and I appreciate the opportunity to come before you. We had the honor and privilege of becoming a city council person about 5 years ago, and it's been a great journey. I grew up right here in Mississippi. I was born right here in Jackson, and I was raised in a little small town called Learned, Mississippi, population of 51. And my family has a farm out there. And, we kind of grew up, we were born in the city, but kind of raised in the country. And it's been a joy growing up here in Mississippi. I've answered the call to serve my country at about the 8th grade. And I've been bugging the recruiter for years about, signing me up. So I finally got signed up my 12th grade year, and I had the honor and privilege of joining the United States Marine Corps, along with brothers like yourself, in that same service. And, it's just been the life of service has been wonderful for me and for my family. We did a couple of tours in a couple of different areas, and were able to retire in 2010. And now I got a son and a daughter in the military. I got one in the Navy and one in the Air Force. So,
wow.
I guess service is in our blood. I'm about a 6th generation military veteran. My grandfathers and great grandfathers and so forth and so on have all been in some type of military service, and now we're back home, serving the community.
Man, that is awesome. I want to dig a little bit more into that, and if I can, if you don't mind,
sure,
because
sure.
Even as a friend of yours, I've admired your career. Because I know what it took to achieve the certain accolades and the certain duty positions as a serviceman. And I'm going to make this personal to the listening audience. And, I think it's important that my listening audience understand that you are an African American man, and that you're an African American man that decided to join a branch of military service. And the reason why I'm harping on this, Keith, is because I think a lot of times the African American gets overlooked as it pertains to our dedication and our service to this nation. Okay. And I don't think it gets the just due that it deserves. So, for those of you who don't know, and I'm just going to, speak on it. I'm not trying to embarrass my brother, but, my brother, he did some of the most, high demand, duty positions that an individual in any branch of service could ever do. One where the selection process is to the very utmost, where they just don't choose anybody to fill a billet. They choose, pardon me for the cliche, the best of the best. And Keith was able to serve in what we call, and correct me, Keith, if I'm not saying it right, he was able to serve on a presidential detail on HMX-1. And for those who don't understand, that is Marine Corps One, the helicopter. And every time when you see on TV and you have the Marine out there, out in front, which of the helicopter that you see, and the president is either exiting or he's departing the aircraft, there's a Marine there that's rendering a salute to the president. Yes, that was Keith. Also, another high demand, high intense duty position that he served in as an African American Marine in the Marine Corps was embassy duty. There are embassies all over the globe, and part of the security detail, along with the State Department, is the United States Marines. You just can't be anybody to fulfill that billet. So please, Keith, if you may, express to the listening audience your desire, your drive, the energy you had to not just only enter the Marine Corps, but to enter the Marine Corps and to take on its duties of high regard. Please share with us your motivation.
Well, brother, I appreciate that. Reflecting back on it, it sounds different now than it did going through it in the beginning. I'm not a hero in any regard, but I know some. I've served with some bona fide heroes that have definitely sacrificed way more than I have. Our process in joining the Marine Corps was in the 8th grade. I saw a commercial of the president getting off the helicopter, and there were some Marines standing out there, and I decided that that's what I wanted to do. And now my family wanted me to go to college and things, but I had made my mind up that that's what I was going to do. But through the grace of God, he allowed me to go through that process to matriculate and get there. The process on Marine One is a pretty strenuous process. But you have to Marine Corps, with very people do for that. Then you have to. I joined the Marine Corps contract, and I didn't know anything about anything. And but you had to be a military policeman to even have that duty. And so, for God to give me that job description of military policeman, when I didn't even know that was one of the prerequisites to even have the position I was trying to go for, that just shows you how when you line up with what God has for you, the desires of your heart will fulfill themselves.
Right.
You just have to perform. So when I got that, confirmation, I just knew that I had to perform. And, my father and grandfathers always taught me that if you're ready, you don't have to get ready. So one day when we were in military police school in Anniston, Alabama, the recruiters for HMX1, came down to recruit people for the security detail. And they interviewed about 300 people, and we went through a series of tests and things like that. And they selected 3 of us as candidates to go to Quantico. So we went to Quantico, and only 2 of us made the whole entire tour. One of the other brothers, God rest his soul, wound up taking his own life because of the operational demands and the stress level was a little bit too much for him to bear. Because that duty is a very intense duty. It has an 85% divorce rate. On top of the operational demands, traveling with the president is not easy, and your commitment has to be above the normal, average, everyday citizen. But we were honored and blessed to serve that duty and learn a lot from President Clinton and President Bush, and move forward. And from there, we went on to, when we decided that our time was up there, it was time to move on. We were blessed with the opportunity to go to Marine Security Guard duty. And even though I remember my day leaving, and President Clinton was like, "Well, where are you going off to next?" And I was like, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And if y'all remember, that's where when the bombings took place, when they bombed Dar es Salaam and Nairobi, Kenya.
Right.
And so we went there, and we were honored to serve and to work along a lot of good people in the State Department, the CIA, and several other agencies in the covert forward deployed arena. So we've just been blessed throughout our whole career, brother. It's just been a blessing. You have to, when God lays stuff out for you, your job is just to perform, and allow God to work through you and display Himself in your life.
See, I love that. I was gonna say I like it. No, I love that. When God lays things out for you, it's your job to perform. Man, that can preach on Sunday. You know that, right?
I'll leave the preaching to you, brother.
Man, that can preach it, man. Come on now. But look. Man, look, and I know I'm still on this, but I want people to know, especially in the African American community, because for the African American, in a lot of ways, we see the military as a second or third option. It's like, if nothing else works out in life, I'll go to the military. And I've always, as an African American in the military, I just somewhat saw that as a slight, especially for all the African Americans that have served prior to us in other conflicts, or even just serving without even going to a conflict for this country. And those ancestors, if you will, they served honorably, and they served under conditions that was not ideal for any human being. And they were ridiculed, they were mocked, they were treated less than. And, you know, I can just, in my sanctified imagination, I can fantasize that these people, African Americans, served with honor and with their chest out. And they said, you know what? We're in this country now, you know, for good or for bad, you know, but we're here to serve and we're here to do our part. And if doing my part costs me my life, so be it. I mean, am I a little far off on that, or do you have some views on that, brother?
Yeah, brother. You know, I know a lot of folks have, you know, different opinions about military service and things like that. But let me just go back a little bit. You know, we built this country. So if anyone has the right to protect it, it's us. And people have served in harder times than today, or even in the time that you and I served together. People have served under different conditions. But the military allows you something that America doesn't allow you to do. The military allows you the open-ended opportunity to express your full manhood. That's why when you come back home, you're not necessarily, you know, welcomed in the open, regular society, because you're accustomed to moving forward as a man in a certain way. And you know, I don't encourage everyone to join the military, but I say that, you know, we've had brothers and sisters who have served over the years for the idea of what America can be, not for what it is, because America has never, you know, been a just all out bed of roses for black folks in this country. But it can be used as a tool and a vehicle for you to personally move yourself forward and to stabilize your family if you do things the proper way. Like I say, it's not for everybody, but for those who it's for, and you prepared yourself properly, you can be successful going forward. And you know, I don't believe military service is for everyone, but for those who have what it takes, because you have to prove yourself in the military, especially in the Marine Corps. Heck, only about, I think, what is it, like 5% of the Marine Corps is black. So you have to perform, and being, you know, you have to perform at a higher level than your Caucasian counterparts in some regards. So, and you'll know different races to a different degree. You know, before I joined the Marine Corps, I grew up in Mississippi as a black man. So my outlook on white folks was a little bit different. My outlook on white folks changed, because once a white guy who may have just called you nigga kick in a door and save your life, you may view him a little bit differently. You see?
Wow.
Because the military leads our civilian population in a lot of areas. We have not necessarily conquered all of these different sores of our community, but we have moved beyond them at a higher rate than the civilian population when it comes to racism or sexism or homosexuality and all these other social kind of issues. We can rise above our lower level differences for the greater good of this country. And that's what the problem I feel with our society today is. Our civilian population can't rise above your lower level differences for the greater good of this daggum country. If you're not going to pack up and leave anywhere, if you're not finna go back to Europe or England or Africa or China or nowhere else, if you're going to be here and you're going to live in this society called America, why would you tear it down? Why don't you play your part in making it better versus trying to rip it apart? And the ripping apart is coming from all sides. It's coming from white folks and black folks, Democrats and Republicans. And it's time for the folks who believe in this country to stand up and say, you know what? I'm not going back anywhere else. I'm going to be right here. And my grandchildren are going to be right here. And if this country is ever going to be something even nice for my grandchildren to have, I'm going to have to do my part in making it better. through service to some degree, not just taking, but actual, work that I don't necessarily benefit from, but the nation benefits from. We're thinking too individually right now, and we have to think collectively and institutionally in order to save our country, because our country is on the brink of a meltdown. And I hope we'll get into that a little bit later.
Wow. And when did you say you was running for president again? I mean,
well, I'm not running for president, brother, but what I'm saying is, there was a day, and that's why we must be a student of history. There was a time when everyone said that the Roman Empire would never fall, that the sun would never sit on the Roman Empire. You know how big that is? That means it spans from the east to the west. There is always sunshine. The empire is so big. And now most folks don't even know where the city of Rome is, nor where Greece is. And the whole country of Greece just filed bankruptcy. And this was just a few hundred years ago. So if we're going to have a country that's not wiped off the map, the people in the country can't tear the country apart. The people in the country, you might have your issues, just like your family. You got your issues inside your family, but you ain't finna run and rip each other apart. And we have to treat each other like family. We can't allow these people who are infected by this virus of individualism tear the country apart. The republic. You know what the republic is? The republic is the people for which it's the republic for which it stands. It's not the corporation for which it stands. It's not
right.
the this or that. It's the republic. And so at all costs, we must safeguard and secure the republic now and for the future. And we're not thinking that way. Our leaders aren't leading us that way. But it's going to take our military veterans, because our military veterans have been the ones who've been able to move beyond things. After the American Revolution, the veterans built the country. After the Civil War.
Let me please interject, because I've caught a snippet of what you're getting ready to say now, but I want to make a segue into what you're getting ready to say and have you expound. Because but being a person, as you so eloquently put it, as far as being an African American and finding the courage, the wherewithal, the dedication, just the spirit to say, you know what, I'm in this country and I'm going to do my part and I'm going to serve. Now, doggone it, after I've served honorably and I've been discharged with an honorable discharge, my service is still not over. What motivated you to become a city councilman, and what made you believe, and I believe this is what you was getting ready to allude to, what made you believe that your service in the military was going to aid you in the service as far as being a public elected, a local elected official?
Well, I appreciate that question, brother. Just like I was saying, you have to believe in service and live a life of service. And when veterans come home, you have to reinvent yourself to do something else, but still build the institution for which you have pledged your life to. We all took an oath. We never canceled that oath. We took an oath to safeguard this country from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. There are some domestic enemies that have been internal to this country for a long time. They're still here. And when you come home from military service, we have to rebuild our nation. Just like after the Civil War. Now, if the brothers and sisters at the end of the Civil War can come back together and rebuild the entire country, you mean to tell me that if folks can't come together after a presidential election and rebuild the country? If the brothers, they tore the entire country apart. Every bomb that dropped in the Civil War was on American soil.
Wow.
Every bullet that was fired was from an American into the chest of another American. So if we can rebound from that after the Civil War and build most of your historically black institutions, they were built after the Civil War. So if we can start, and most of our large black churches and all those places, if we could build the institutions inside of our local communities, we can do it again. If you can come back after the World War II, that's where you got your World War II veterans like Medgar Evers and several others. I just think it's now time for this generation of veterans to continue to serve, continue to work, and save this country from the virus that has infected the civilian population.
The virus.
The virus of individualism. The virus of selfies.
No, you didn't. The virus of selfies. Man, that's a whole nother conversation.
Right. The virus of corporate greed over the republic.
Wow.
The corporations mean more to this country than the republic.
Some will argue that it's the corporations that really, for the longest time, after the Mayflower landed, are the ones that run this country.
Well, most definitely. There are a lot of special interests out there. But there's either going to be two things that's going to happen in the next 50 years. There's going to be a realignment or there's going to be a collapse. There's only two things that's about to happen.
Brother, I'm sorry, man. See, because you bringing up stuff. Look, bro, I'm gonna keep it 100.
You told me I was on Speak Rock, right? You told me I don't talk about the baby kissing and the pity pat conversations. That's what you told me, right?
That's what I told you. But look, see,
Right.
because you're talking on points that are so good that this. Keep in mind, also, a lot of my listening audience are from the African American demographic, and I think a lot of times we miss key pieces of this type of conversation. Because what you're talking about, when you're talking about, look, there's only about one or two things that's going to happen. We got to understand as African Americans, where are we going to be?
Right.
When those things
Exactly.
happen is where are we going to be positioned at? I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead and continue, but for me, that just gets my juices flowing and it makes me think. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, think about this now. Just for the listening audience. If America were to collapse, what will happen to you, your community, your city? What will happen? Think about it. Let that resonate for a minute. When you talk about this country's arming up, going to war with this country, if some other country were to start winning, what's going to happen to you? It's time to start talk real about when we talk about our way of life, and they sugarcoated in D.C. and they said we're safeguarding our way of life, but in reality, we're safeguarding. Everything you know will change. Everything. You may not like the experience that you've had in America because a police officer doesn't treat you with a certain level of dignity and respect. Got it. But when the basic fundamental safeguards of this country are rolled away, where will African Americans be? There's some folks out there who plan to just let them die. And I say let them live. But they have to stop thinking individually and think collectively and institutionally. As long as you think as an individual, you're going to lose. Your children are going to lose. But when you start thinking collectively, you can identify where our real priorities are. Yes, the issues when it comes to Black Lives Matter and all these other things, they are issues, but we have to prioritize and say, okay, what can I do in service to it all, whether it be organizing inside my community, service work, public service work, or any of it. What can you do to help rebuild the republic? Because if you're not going to solidify and safeguard the republic, all you're going to do is let it collapse. Because there's only two roads to go down in the future. There's going to be a collapse or a realignment. And I say that we should get into service, real service, not greed, not making my friends rich. No, I'm talking about rebuilding the country from the local community, which will permeate to your county, which will permeate to your state, which will permeate to the nation. It's not going to happen from the top down. It's not going to work.
Right.
It's never worked. But it will always be more stable from the bottom up. Let me focus on my block.
Wow.
And as I master the service of my block, then I can master the service of my neighborhood. Then I can cut off a corner of my county. You know, let's focus on your area and a degree of service. And as you learn, you teach.
Come on, man. Once again, perfect segue into, I want to ask you about your radio show. You have a radio show called Reviving Mississippi. And
Yes,
once again, this is, I would say, the birth child of your philosophy, your ideology. This is something that you birthed and put into action. The Reviving Mississippi platform, which turns into a radio show. And I'm not even from Mississippi, but I've tuned in to look at it because I find it to be key that you have guests on your show, involving them in dialogue, tackling certain subjects and issues. And you also have a listening audience that can call in and chime in. Your constituents, that, you know, it's amazing to me, and it's so wonderful because you're tangible. You're a politician you're in it. And if anybody goes to his webpage, and if you go to I've posted it on my social media, you will see I'm just not making this up. This guy he's not just in the community asking for signatures. He's in the community helping his constituents, laboring, doing physical labor with them, along with educating them on various subjects. Please talk to me and talk to us about how you're utilizing this vehicle of your radio show, Reviving Mississippi.
Oh, well, thanks, brother. Well, we started Reviving Mississippi about 4 years ago, and it was just a radio show. It was just 30 minutes at first, and it's grown into an hour show. We normally have about, I think our last sound scan was about 70,000 folks tune in on the website and on the broadcast radio. And, you know, we also aired on Facebook Live and things like that. But the content of it is, I'm just a vehicle. The people who chime in, those are the folks that create the energy for everything we do. So even though I may be the mouthpiece of it, it's folks behind the scenes that put it all together. I just show up and provide the leadership and structure for it all to happen. But folks like Mac Epps and Karen Nelson and Cedric Johnson and the rest, they're the ones that put all this stuff together, and the folks in the community. And so what I feel the other benefit that African American veterans can do is provide leadership. See, we know what leadership is and we know what it's not. A lot of folks in our community are just talking. And instead of berating a brother or sister because they just been the loudest one in the room, for a good period of time. No. Just show them what leadership looks like, and then they will align themselves or they will be the only person in their room. And that's where I feel that our especially black folks, we're falling apart because of lack of leadership. tangible, real leadership. You know, I'm talking about leadership that's not trying to get in the woman's skirts and in the man's pocketbook.
Come on.
I'm talking about leadership. Leadership and accountability is what we're lacking in the black community. We got a population of folks who understand leadership. The civilians will adjust. As long as you have a degree of compassion and they really know you actually care about them, they will adjust. So I encourage our military veterans that are out there to come back to your community and show them what real leadership looks like in an uncompromising, in a hard way. And it'll allow you to become a better leader because you're not leading soldiers on a battlefield anymore. You're leading folks to get food, water, and shelter. And that's all we focus on, is the basics of life. And that's where we're lacking. We need our military veterans, black and white, to come back and serve inside our communities. And that's what we've done with Revive Mississippi. I mean, we've been blessed because once you start doing this stuff, the resources are there. They've just been manipulated. You know, I had one of our donors come to us and says, "Well, you haven't spent any money on your salaries for any of your people that we've donated to you." I said, "Well, my people don't come here to eat. We're all men. We provide for ourselves. I'm not a pimp. You know, I work myself for my family. I don't need somebody to donate money to me for my family because I'm a man."
Wow.
A man provides for his family himself. You know, so I believe that we have to move forward and duplicate that process all over the country.
That's excellent. That's real talk coming from a real man, coming from a solid politician, coming from a veteran. I mean, you're just well-rounded, and I see why you're on your second term. Obviously, the people of Jackson and the ward that you're the councilman of, they see how authentic and how truthful you are, and it's doing them some good. Now, we're towards the end of our segment, but there's some 3 questions that I have for you. It's
okay.
3 of the pillars of my own platform, and I like to ask people, these pillars. So we're gonna go ahead and start, and you probably seen them on my social media posts. It's spirit, purpose, and conviction. So the first thing I'm gonna ask you, if anyone came to you and you had to describe to them, what is your spirit?
Well, my spirit is the breath of God. It's the energy that flows through you that pushes you to help serve. I have a spirit of service. It's a reflection of my life. I've been in some kind of service my whole life. And so I would say that, service is my spirit.
That's nice. I like that. All right.
And as far as conviction,
well, we got to get the purpose. Let's get the purpose.
Okay.
What is your purpose there, black man?
Is on the purpose side, I mean, as a man, you want to be able to express full manhood, to provide and protect. That's the only 2 things a man has to do. So when it comes to purpose, my purpose is to express my own manhood, the ability to provide and protect that for which I love. My family, my community, in the area where I live in.
That's strong. I love it. All right, conviction. What is the conviction of the Keither Stamps?
My convictions are the things that safeguard that spirit and that purpose. That's why, you get such a harsh tone from me, because you're leaning on, or you infringing on the spirit and purpose that I have in my life. And those pillars, anytime you brush up against one, that's where you meet that conviction. and you have to stand up, because if you can't allow folks just because they feel they have the right to do this or the right to know that, you have to put those pillars in place that say, I'm not going to bend right there. You can yell all you want to. You can march, protest all you want to. I'm not compromising that.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, it's just. I mean, she can talk to you blue in the face. You know, it's like some of these folks in the political process try to see or try to move you towards these larger level issues that really aren't connected to your local purpose. You know, they try to get you on these big national things. Are you pro-life, pro-choice, pro-gay, you know, all this kind of stuff. Hey, you know, you got to put those pillars in place to safeguard your own life. And, you know, for me, my convictions are simple. For that I love, I'm willing to die for. But that also means, for that I love, I'm willing to kill for. So choose wisely if you want to come against anything with me, because anything I believe in, I'm willing to give my life for it. And if you're not willing to sacrifice to the same degree, go fool with somebody else. Go get in an argument with somebody else. Choose someone else to deal with. But for me, I'm ready to die. Every day that I wake up in the morning, I am prepared and resolved to die for which I believe in.
And that's real talk. That's serious. And I believe anybody that is a follower of yours, or anyone that believes in you as being their leader, they gotta be happy with that. They gotta be happy with it. Brother, look, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to meet with me and the SPEAKROC audience. I mean, look, I respect you. I got the utmost respect for you. And I'm so proud, extremely proud of the work that you're doing for your community and for this nation. Leave the people with a little token of motivation before we depart.
Okay. Well, what I will say is this. Never let anyone put you in a position where you don't love your own people. Because when you hate your own people, you're part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. All white folks ain't bad. All black folks ain't good. But you got to figure out who you're going to align yourself with to rebuild your village, so that you can safeguard yourself, your family, and your community. I love y'all. God bless. You can follow me on all your social media stuff. I think SPEAKROC tagged me and all. So you just keep up with me, and I look forward to coming back on the show in the future, and hopefully we'll get a video done next time.
That's it. That's it. Hey, brothers and sisters, you heard it here. That's Councilman DeKeither Stamps of Mississippi. Hey, look, I appreciate him, and I appreciate all of you. Hey, brothers and sisters, just remember something. I'm a brother from Detroit. What do I know? I might know a little, I might know a lot, I might not know nothing. But in either event, let's live, laugh, and learn, and we gonna be all right. Hey, this is your brother SPEAKROC. I'm out.